Here's your wrestling news for April 4th, 2022, and your headlines for today include bizarre finish to Roman Reigns' Brock Lesnar match at WrestleMania as new unified WWE Universal Champion is crowned. Ronda Rousey calls out fake report about why she didn't stay for WWE Hall of Fame. Reason behind AJ Styles' cut during WrestleMania entrance revealed. Drew McIntyre reportedly made decision to nix special entrance from WrestleMania Saturday, what was originally planned for him. Reason why WWE WrestleMania 38 transmission was cut on night 1 revealed. Bianca Belair shows off painful effects of a brutal Becky Lynch botch at WrestleMania. 2 botches you probably missed during WrestleMania Sunday. WWE Hall of Famer and others react to Vince McMahon botching Stone Cold Stunner at WrestleMania 38. Bobby Lashley could have big things ahead after WrestleMania. Next opponent is possibly revealed. Ronda Rousey's next opponent in WWE, and more. We're kicking off today with WrestleMania 38 as an undisputed world champion of WWE has been crowned, and his name is Roman Reigns. Dubbed the biggest WrestleMania match of all time, the in-ring bout may not have lived up to the hype, but there's no denying that the stakes going into the match had never been higher. What fans saw was a relatively short, impactful match between Reigns and Lesnar, but the finish was a bit bizarre. During the bout, Reigns got plenty of assistance from Paul Heyman, who at one point pushed the ropes to the Tribal Chief when he was seconds away from tapping to the Kimura lock. Reigns used every trick in the book, including a low blow and a shot with the Universal title, but fans were confused by the use of a simple spear that put Lesnar away. The spear is Reigns' finisher, to be fair, but to see the match end so abruptly rather than the expected dramatic build with several kickouts was odd to see. To be fair, Reigns fans in the crowd were ecstatic, while Lesnar fans looked devastated, just as WWE had planned. There's now the question of what the new champion will be referred to, as WWE still hasn't clarified what the new unified world champion will be called. With the WWE title having decades of lineage over the Universal title, perhaps WWE will remove the Universal name, but we'll only know for sure on tonight's Raw. As for Reigns himself, there's 2 options on the table, with the first being that he could defend the title on both brands. However, the USA Network and Fox have 2 very lucrative, very exclusive deals with WWE, and we doubt either network will be pleased to have a world champion half the time. With too much money involved to not have a brand split, it seems the company will keep Raw and SmackDown separate. If so, then that means we're likely to see a new World Championship emerge, just as WWE did with the World Heavyweight title in 2002 and the Universal title in 2016. Reigns has spent the past 3 years of his career on SmackDown, as Fox have made it clear that they want the absolute top stars, so it's unlikely we'll see Reigns as a Raw-branded superstar anytime soon. With that in mind, expect a new world title to be announced for the Red Show, but when that will be remains anyone's guess. More from WrestleMania as Ronda Rousey faced Charlotte Flair in one of the most hyped matches in the entire 2-night event, but the SmackDown Women's Championship match did not headline night 1. That honor instead went to Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kevin Owens, despite reports that WWE had once planned to have Rousey and Charlotte headline the show of shows for the second time in their careers. It has been reported by other sources that Rousey was furious about not getting the main event spot and was allegedly so angry that she stormed out of the Hall of Fame tapings on Friday, but eventually returned. That isn't the case at all, though, as on Twitter, the Hot Rod fired back at the claim, saying, "I don't know where these reports come from, but it was an absolute honor to perform under Steve Austin in WrestleMania in Texas. I wasn't at Hall of Fame because I have a 6-month-old baby I had to put to sleep early. People are literally creating drama out of thin air." While Rousey, like any other self-respecting superstar, would have loved to have headlined WrestleMania, it wasn't meant to be on this occasion, but despite what some have reported, the former UFC fighter has no problem playing second fiddle to Stone Cold. Now on night 2, AJ Styles had a unique entrance before his match with Edge, but it wasn't because of anything the Phenomenal One had planned. During the entrance, Styles had a noticeable cut on his face and was bleeding from the wound, all before a single punch was thrown in his match with Edge. In a video captured by Wrestling Inc., it's revealed that Styles cut himself on the WrestleMania stage as he hit his face on the star-shaped entranceway. Despite the cut, Styles would wrestle without being impaired, but would come up short against Edge thanks to an appearance by Damian Priest. It's a testament to Styles that he wasn't fazed by the wound, though we imagine he'll be a bit more careful at future WrestleManias. Night 1 of WrestleMania saw Drew McIntyre end his feud with Happy Corbin, becoming the first man to kick out of the End of Days to win the match. This was the latest big match for McIntyre, but what fans saw wasn't the entire plan WWE had in mind. According to Fightful, a very special WrestleMania entrance was planned for the two-time former WWE champion that fans never got to see. Later, actor and heavy metal performer Sean Stark took to Twitter to reveal that he and his group had been brought in as part of McIntyre's entrance, and on Instagram, Mike J. Wilson shared a snap of some kilted warriors who were meant to appear. Despite initial reports that the entrance was cut for timing issues, an update revealed that Drew himself requested for the entrance to be cut, as he wanted a more personal connection with the crowd in Texas. It's worth noting that everyone who was going to work on the entrance got paid and got all access passes to WrestleMania 38, but a huge entrance for the Scottish Warrior wasn't meant to be this year. Like McIntyre, Charlotte Flair stood tall in her WrestleMania outing as she defeated Ronda Rousey to retain the SmackDown Women's Championship, but the live feed of the match was cut several times. When Flair had Rousey in the Figure 4 leg lock, the feed was briefly cut, and it turns out that the Queen had a wardrobe malfunction. During part of the match, Flair's breast was exposed, and while WWE cut the feed to avoid showing what had happened, some fans caught the mishap and shared it on social media. Despite this, Flair would bounce back and retain her title, albeit after she tapped out while the referee was knocked out. The first woman to ever win 4 WrestleMania matches, Charlotte cemented her legacy, albeit in controversial fashion, at this past weekend's event. But this wardrobe malfunction is something both Flair and WWE would have rather done without. Flair fared much better in her match than Becky Lynch, who lost the Raw Women's Championship to Bianca Belair. One of the most physical matches of the night, things got ugly quickly, especially during a botch by big-time Bex. When Lynch attempted a senton in the corner, the now former champion missed, and her foot crashed hard on the eye of the EST. On social media, Belair showed off the nasty black eye she suffered due to the botch, as her eye was swollen shut and discolored. Belair also showed just how powerful makeup can be, as in her next picture, her eye was still swollen shut, but the champ had covered up the shiner. The new champion will be on tonight's Raw and will hopefully be able to see out of her eye after this botched senton during one of the biggest matches of her career. WrestleMania 38 is in the history books and many fans are calling it one of the best manias in recent years, but as we've seen, not everything went according to plan. On night 2, Johnny Knoxville made his WrestleMania debut by defeating Sami Zayn, albeit thanks to the help of his Jackass co-stars and a series of props. While Knoxville is well-versed in dangerous stunts and wasn't scared about getting injured, the show being live proved to be a drawback for the TV and movie star who's used to having time to edit. Knoxville struggled with several of his own weapons during the show and struggled to drag the table from under the ring. Perhaps the biggest issue was with the giant rat trap that led to the victory, as it malfunctioned and hit him first before hitting Zayn, making for a chaotic, if clumsy, finish to the match. Night 2 also saw Omos have the biggest match of his career when he faced Bobby Lashley, and for the most part dominated the two-time former WWE World Champion. There was one spot where Lashley was looking to kick out Omos's leg when he ran into the corner, but it appears Omos forgot what the spot was. Instead, the Colossal Superstar ran straight at Lashley and could have knocked him out, and to make matters worse, he did the spot again. On the second attempt, the spot went as planned, but doing it again made it clear that he had botched it the first time. Omos would go on to be defeated by Lashley, giving the Giant his first singles loss on WWE's main roster, and we'll have to see where both men go from here. After competing in his first match since 2003 at Night 1, Stone Cold Steve Austin made a special appearance during WrestleMania 38 Night 2, delivering not 1, not 2, but 3 Stone Cold Stunners. Both Austin Theory and Pat McAfee sold the move like a champ, but when Mr. McMahon was hit with the move, the result was less than impactful. On Twitter, several fans poked fun at McMahon collapsing to the mat before the move had happened, and WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley questioned if it was the worst stunner ever. At 76 years old, we can't exactly blame the chairman for not being able to take the maneuver in the same way he did a quarter of a century ago, and judging by the grin on his face, McMahon was able to see the funny side of things not going as planned. We mentioned earlier how Bobby Lashley handed Omos his first singles loss on the main roster, and this is a major accolade for the former WWE champion. A certified giant slayer, Lashley's match was slightly strange given that he was supposed to be injured until after WrestleMania, and it didn't make much sense for him to return prematurely to face Omos of all people. After all, the Almighty didn't even lose his WWE Championship fairly in February, and you would expect Lashley's first goal is to regain the title. Either way, it was a good catalyst to turn Lashley face, and the fans at WrestleMania certainly treated him as a babyface talent. The commentators mentioned the chip on his shoulder because of how he lost the WWE title, and it was a subtle indication that post-WrestleMania 38, the Almighty will be challenging for the gold. Lashley was so clearly the babyface in this feud, which could put him in line with WWE's top heel. It's expected that Roman Reigns will have an appearance on tonight's Raw, and if so, it's entirely possible that Lashley could crash the title unification party. Lashley versus Reigns could be a very entertaining feud, especially with MVP and Paul Heyman in their respective corners, and with Lashley never being pinned or submitted to lose the WWE title, it makes sense he'd be one of the first in line. Whether Lashley is first to face Roman Reigns or plans on challenging for a new world title, that remains to be seen, but after his short feud with Omos, expect the Almighty to be back in the hunt for a championship title. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.